Hello, welcome to this short clip going through a practical assessment question from an old specification OCR exam. Now this type of assessment is no longer carried out, though what used to happen is you'd have to do this type of practical task under exam conditions in a lab and also try to get a result that was fairly close to what we call the centre result, so that would be what your teacher got when they tried it. So instead of having a separate practical examination, you have your practical assessment group, core practicals at the moment, and your centre or your teacher selects which ones that you do from the ones on offer. And they don't form part of the A-level, they form part of your practical endorsement. So what they could do though is bring questions similar to this exercise into the examination. So as an example of trying to challenge your understanding or test your understanding of the rationale behind why a practical is actually carried out in the way that it is. So it's still worth having a think about them, even though they aren't assessed in quite the same way. So looking at the procedure, I've actually carried this out for you, and I'll put my results into this clip so you can use them to do the questions. So in a nutshell, what happens is the lithium is reacted with water to produce lithium hydroxide. That is formed in aqueous solution. And then the lithium hydroxide is made up to 250 centimeters cubed of water, distilled, before being titrated with HCl in 25 centimeter cubed portions, in the same way you do in normal acid-base titration. And because lithium is a flammable solid, being a reactive group 1 metal, it's stored under oil in a sealed bottle for safety. So you might want to bear that in mind for later. So, looking at the final part of the instructions, what I did was carried out a rough titration, and I did 2 more until I could get concordancy, plus or minus 0.10 centimeters cubed. And I'd also measured the mass of lithium that I used. You can see my readings, and obviously you can work out from that you have 0.16 grams of lithium. So moving the page down, the next thing we have to do is to work out the mean titer. So if you look at my results closely, they're actually not concordant, are they? Normally I continue titrating, but because I wanted to get the clip done, I stuck with literally this pair of results in order to save time. It's not ideal, but in practice it also reflects the fact that many candidates don't always reach concordancy if they're under test conditions. So they might be a little bit nervous, so sometimes they have to make do in the interest of time management. So I would probably lose a mark for not getting my results concordant like this from the practical side of the mark scheme. But if you think about the general picture, losing 1 mark for not getting concordancy, but then being able to use your result correctly later on means you can pick up more marks instead. So if in an ideal world, I would keep going to try and get another result that's concordant with one of those, but this time I decided not to. So obviously, if we do an average of those the two closest results, that gives us 12.025 centimeters cubed. So if we move the page down a bit, you can see that it says you will be assessed on the consistency of your titration results. And you can see that already we've lost a mark there. But at the same time, it's unlikely that you'll have lost all 4. So we've still got the accuracy of your final answer. That we can go for. So it says, state the relevant hazard associated with the handling of lithium metal. So we were told it was corrosive in the information that was given. So if you rewind a bit, you can still see that. And therefore, we need to wear gloves to stop it coming into contact with the moisture in our skin and therefore forming lithium hydroxide, which is corrosive. So if we now move on to the next page, what they want you to do is to calculate the amount in moles of HCl used in your main titer. So what's important to look at is the reaction occurs in two stages, so bear in mind the mole ratios that take place during these two stages. So the first stage is reacting the lithium with water, and the second stage is the titration itself. So if we convert the mean titer of our HCl into moles, it's simply V times C. So dividing the centimeters cubed by 1,000 and multiplying by the concentration gives us 1.2025 times 10 to the minus 3. So using equation 1, you can see that the mole ratio of lithium hydroxide to HCl is exactly the same, 1 to 1. So 1.2025 times 10 to the minus 3 moles of HCl equals the mole of lithium hydroxide in 25 centimeters cubed. The number of moles of lithium hydroxide used in equation 2 is half the number of moles of lithium hydroxide made in equation 1. So taking into account the scaling factor, and in 250 centimeters cubed there's 10 times more moles than there were in 25 centimeters cubed from the titration, and also the 2 to 1 mole ratio between the two equations for lithium hydroxide, that gives us 0.02405 moles. So now what we can do is bring the page down and just finish things off. So as we move it down, it asks us to calculate the relative atomic mass of lithium. So that gives us 6.65 grams per mole. Now it's not quite right, because if you look at the periodic table you'll see that the actual answer from the OCR periodic table is 6.9 grams per mole. But it's close enough considering that there may be some errors, which is what the next question asks us to think about. So just shifting it down, it says, identify the most significant measurement error in this experiment and explain your reasoning. Now thinking about the reasoning, uncertainty or error is affected by the size of measurement. So it's now called uncertainty in the new specification. So there's smaller measurements are more affected than larger measurements, and the number of readings required to take one measurement, for example, a starting mass and a finishing mass, a starting volume and a finishing volume. So mass of the lithium is the smallest measurement taken, so that's going to be one that's affected the most. And it's also affected by the fact that there might be some oil on the lithium surface from when you took it out of the bottle. So we can illustrate this by putting down the percentage uncertainty using the balance, which is the absolute uncertainty of the balance times 2, divided by the mass that's measured. Now, why do we multiply the absolute uncertainty of the balance twice? It's because the absolute uncertainty is the uncertainty applied to one reading. So if you're taking a reading for the weighing bottle empty, and then you're taking another reading for the weighing bottle with the lithium in it, like you're instructed to do, that means you've applied the same error 2 times. So whatever the absolute uncertainty of the balance is, you multiply that by 2, and you divide that by the mass of lithium that you've worked out. So in this case, obviously, 0.16 grams. And then that's multiplied by 100. Okay, so I think that covers us for this task. Hopefully it's been a useful look at how we think through the procedure itself and not just do the calculations from our measurements. So until next time, thanks for listening and see you soon.